Right, today we're up here in the Peak District, and it's known for its wonderful valleys and dales, but this is one of its, we call it a hidden gem. It's virtually unknown, so you're almost guaranteed to find peace and quiet. We're up between Iam and Baslow. Now just over there, the other side of the playing fields, 2 Roman coins were found around 1978. Well, they're just digging an allotment. Right, we're at Coombs Dale Wood, Coombs Dale Valley, the hidden gem. You can see the beauty of the place, but regarding the ancient history, Neolithic waste flints and rubbing stones are among the finds which were excavated in the area. Flint flakes east of Black Harry's Lane, possible pre-Neolithic, were also found. A narrow crevice containing 12 bones of people suggested to be of a Neolithic date. There are Bronze Age round barrows in the fields, ancient mine workings from the Bronze Age to the Romans and post-medieval. I've just seen a big black, I think it was a dog, massive it looked in the distance, going between 2 trees. It was weird, so I put my 2 on lead. Right, just over that hill, which I can't get to from here, there was a Romano-British settlement. It had earthen and stone banks in irregular and circular enclosures, and they dated it to the Romans because Romano-British pottery was recovered. There's also probably a lead mine in the middle of it, which is probably why the Romans were here. Old witch's tree. There's a stream. Do not swim. No, the dog's going to need paddle, so that ain't going to happen. Ooh, there's small fish in there. So it's nice and quiet. I saw a few people leaving on the car park, probably because of the threat of rain. But the hell, we're in England, aren't we? Come prepared. Now, look at these potholes. You expect it down these country lanes, don't you? But driving from my house down the A52, the A38, it was awful with potholes. It was better when we got on the country roads. What's going on with the country? Come here, Ziggy. Oh, fucking hell. A typical light water torch. That's the direction I've come from, and that's where we're heading. I think there's an old mine, a medieval village up here. Right, I just found the old mine workings, the flooded mine workings. I can't get to them, but they're over there. Just if we can zoom in. This is where the stream's coming from the mine workings. Interesting. So I'm going now slowly uphill, rough ground. It's like driving down the A52. I've just seen that big black dog up there again, prowling about. Might have sat right next to me. They don't seem happy. Don't seem to be with anybody. Can't get it on film. You keep getting glimpses on it. Right, can you hear this? Listen very carefully. Nothing but bird song. Oh, we've just come down there. It's been a track and a half for an old man. There we've got Black Harry's Lane, the notorious highwayman, which I'll tell you the story of in a minute. And that way, which is uphill, which I don't fancy, to the remains of Black Harry's house, which has been knocked down now. Now these moors weren't always as tranquil and peaceful as they are today. It's a place full of history and legend. For 200 years ago, Stoney Middleton was a haunting ground of a feared highwayman, Black Harry. But years ago, when maps weren't available and signposts rarely existed, the chances of becoming lost on the Derbyshire moors, as I've experienced, were high, especially at night. Mass robbers ruled the roads after dark, and travellers were frequently at the mercy of these highwaymen. Apparently Derbyshire back then was like the Wild West. Travellers feared roving around the country like no other. In the early 1700s the area was notorious for being a dangerous part of Derbyshire. Now there were several ancient packhorse routes ran through the area, so this isolated place was perfect for attacking vulnerable merchants and travellers making their way between Tidewell and Bakewell. This was the hunting ground of a particularly feared highwayman known as Black Harry, who would regularly prey on those crossing the moors after dark. After several murderous years, Black Harry was eventually caught and arrested by local law enforcement officials, and he was hung and gibbeted on the gallows at nearby Wardlow Myers, which I might pass on the way back. His legacy is still evident here. Black Harriers Gate still stands in Coombs Dale at the end of Black Harriers Lane, which is here. There was an old farmhouse of the same name stood till the 1970s, but it's been demolished to make way for mining activities. And it's said that in the dark of night the ghostly sounds of galloping hooves can be heard approaching across the moors. Maybe this is part of the reason why Coombs Dale has remained so undisturbed for centuries. It's absolutely gorgeous, but challenging. I didn't know that was that steep. It looked like a flat lane on the map. Now just over that field, probably the next field which I can't get into, Dale Quarry. We're on Black Harriers Lane still. In 1934, in a narrow crevice, it contained 12 persons of all ages, bones. And the skulls were used to suggest it was a Neolithic date. I don't know what happened to them. I didn't realise I'd come this high up. Look how steep that is on the way back. Still heading down. God.